and welcome. So I'm the founder of Earthfood. Now, in the 1880s, my great-great-grandfather arrived in Australia with his microbial solution. He was a senior winemaker at the Hermitage Estate Winery. That's a very famous place over here. In fact, he was instrumental in getting the Australian wine industry in the European wine competitions. But back in those days and today, microbes will only live for 36 to 48 hours unless they're in their environment in which they can live, like a soil particle or a leaf plant cell. If they're not, they will die. So luckily for me, I was able to work with a soil scientist, and we would now got the world IP to be able to have our Earthfood, which can now live 10 years on a shelf because it was fermented in controlled conditions and controlled temperatures. And because of that, these are now asleep. They're snoozing. This is not a compost tea where it's just filled with water, and it's not with other things that many microbial components are required so that you get plant growth. This has nothing to do with that. This is just them, the living microbes. So how these wake up is when you mix this with water, it's the hydrogen in the water, H2O. So this is how I use it. If you want to be the world's laziest gardener, and believe you me, I am, because I work seven days a week, 15 hours a day, I actually do my gardening at night under floodlight. I have 5 huge garden beds. I have, I don't know, about 60 large pots that will hold everything from grapevines through to dwarf almond trees, persimmons, pomegranates, mango trees, avocado trees. And then we've got all the ground food crops like tomatoes, lettuce, you know, the usuals. And then we've got all the kitchen herbs, which cover all the tops of the pots. So the soil is never exposed. And that there is the key. So to be able to use this, you squeeze the belly of the bottle and the fluid goes up the channel, and this is all you need. That's 20 mils. Now, in America, I think that might be, let's say, 3 dessert spoons or a tablespoon, perhaps.
Maybe 3 ounces. Yeah, maybe 2, 3 ounces.
3 ounces. Thank you. Yeah. And now that will go into a liter of water, and you can spray your plants or your soil. But if your soil is covered, sometimes it's better just to spray the leaves. Now, this is the magic, and this is what I want you to know so that you understand the differences. The cellular molecular structure of the leaf will start changing. So most plants are unwell, and I'll explain in a minute. But a healthy plant will have hexagon-shaped cells in the leaf, and a sick plant is oblong. Well, I tell you what, if I grab my mate here and I hit him on the head and he dies, and we put him out the backyard tonight, tomorrow we'll go and see him. What do you think we'll find? Insects all over his body. Because insects are designed by Mother Nature to clean up the sick, dying, and the dead. So if you've got insects in your backyard and on your crops, you've got sick and dying plants or sick and dying soil. Just let that sink in. So this changes the molecular structure. So now you have an automatic, very quick immunity boost, so you don't have pesky insects. We do want the beneficial ones, because the beneficial ones don't hurt your plants. They don't eat them and make problems with them. It's the pesky ones that do. So there's the leaves. Now we're going to go down the stems. This makes the trace minerals and the selenium. Trace minerals. Well, people say, well, what is soil? Soil is actually minerals. When I die, I'm 87 minerals. I will just die back into the soil as minerals. Anything that was living before is made of minerals. It just decomposes back into the soil. And, you know, we all go back to that. So why is it that plants can't have the minerals? Why are we adding and adding and adding and inputting all these different varieties of the latest narrative from the, dare I say it, big ag cartel product range? Did I say that? No, I did. Well, here's the thing. This unlocks the trace minerals and the selenium, but the selenium is the part that gives weight to crops. So if I'm talking to a farmer and let's just say you're a hemp farmer and it's $1,800 a ton, I can get you 40% more just by changing to biological botanical growing, which is what we teach. That's good news, isn't it? Now, if you are growing plants, did you know lettuces stand up tall when they have selenium? They actually don't lie up flat. That is not how Mother Nature intended food to be. Also, if your lettuce is lying like that, I can guarantee you will end up with having insects as well. So when they're standing up tall, it's about structure and guts in the stem, right? That's what the selenium does. And this comes naturally. That's what they do. Now we go down into the roots. The roots become dense, thick, and strong and produce the sugar for the microbes to eat. And the microbes then will unlock all the nutrients in the soil. It's hard to believe that Mother Nature has given us everything to make this work for our betterment. So they also will make the tiny nanoholes in the soil, and that will then capture water. So you can have a hot day and cold night. You've got free water called condensation, and it holds the water in there. So you're saving 70% of water just by changing what you're using. You'll also have the microbes go up to the surface and they bring down what is scientifically called atmospheric nitrogen. Very scientific. So they bring the nitrogen down and the carbon and they lock it into the soil. I'm actually breathing 78% nitrogen right now. So there's plenty to go around. I'm not breathing pure oxygen. And that's what they do. Once they have all that soil and the eating structure working for the plant, I have to say, well, what's the other side? The drinking structure. What's that for? It's for water. So why is it that everything we buy for our plants is water soluble? Right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the point of difference, because you've just created a sick and dying plant. And now you're caught in the big ag cartel range. So you're going to have insects, you get an insecticide. You're going to have a sick plant, you'll get fertilizers. You've got various kinds of ones. And then you've got compacted soil, you'll have to get a wetting agent. And then you've got weeds, or pesky weeds, not even the good ones that we have as medicine, and the pesky weeds. So then you get a herbicide. And then as you go round in the circle, you're caught in a repeat business model for a big company that's quite happily and cheerfully taking your money, knowing full well that you're going to keep coming back and back. So right there, look, there's so much I could tell you, and I know I'm only here for a very short time, and just check that time there for me.
You're doing good. I think it's been fantastic to listen to, because, you know, I grew up in a gardening family, right? So lots of tomatoes, peaches, almonds also, pecans, just everything we had it all in our yard. And so I'm very familiar with gardening from that perspective, but I have not listened or ever heard the cycle of the big ag companies. And now I'm thinking to myself, I get that now. I get it. I've thought back to several plants and the insects that we had for those. So it's been fascinating to listen to just verbatim discuss exactly how it works. I can tell you know your game.
Well, I can tell you there's more to this, but obviously we don't have enough time, and we should do this again because it's a very special topic. And I am talking about food security. I don't know if you know that it is now known that Louisiana, for example, is going to be almost like Ethiopia in another 15 years. And you can Google this stuff up. We are at a tipping point of humanity. We're going to have to start practicing we're going to have to look after our one square meter of earth, and we're going to start practicing growing food. Right now, we have such interventions in our food. For example, the food is not what you think it is anymore. There's processes that have made the tissue culture quite poorly. And in fact, there was a trial done in one of the states here in Australia on the fresh food sold in the big distribution channels. And we found that 67% had no nutritional value. We're finding that we've got 83% of fresh food that used to be in shopping trolleys only like 10 years ago, is now 22%. And we used to buy food as ingredients for cooking. We don't cooking. So for those of you who are interested in frequencies, and I know a lot of people are, this has a frequency of 7 to 12 hertz, which is the same as a bee's wing when it vibrates to make that honey, the antibacterial part of honey. And as you know, this is the part that we know. It's a miracle of nature. It's called unexplained science. No one understands, but it's there. And this is the part that makes honey live for thousands of years that we found in pyramids. Now, when you use these living microbes, this frequency attracts bees. If you start to use the microbes, the bees will come. They're your pollinators. And even though right now we are having massive shortage of bees because of all the chemicals that we've used, you can tell that I'm an anti-chemical girl, right? And rightly so. Hasn't been helpful to us. So, you know, it really comes down to a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of love. Look, I've got to say, our health, when you go to a doctor, what's the first thing they do? They want to get a blood test. Let's check your zinc, your magnesium, your manganese, your boron, your blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? It's there. That's Mother Nature. She's given us everything we need to have health from the ground up, folks. And this is it. And it's the only thing you have to do is a little bit of watering for your plants and spray this on once every 3 weeks, just say. And that there is about, I don't know, 40 cents. It's a no-brainer.
Awesome stuff. Very compelling. So, folks, now's your chance to ask a question or two, if you like, of Bronwin, and she and I can discuss it. My question for you, first of all, is where are you? I know you're in Australia. Where will you ship to for those customers on Shopley? Are you capable of shipping out of the country? Are you in different markets? Where will you operate?
Okay. Yeah, so we're 100% USDA, OMRI, EcoCert, Southern Cross Australia, certified organic, and many others. But the point for Americans is that we're USDA. Now, this means we can ship this product anywhere in the world. We have an international harmony code. So that's a really good thing, makes life easy. The point is, it's the weight. So what we're doing right now, as I'm speaking, is that we're making a program of trying to get it as a warehouse stock in, like one in America and one in Hong Kong and one in the UK, Rotterdam or something. But and this is where we're at right now with Shopley. This is part of the developmental process of working with the Shopley platform, and it's finding ways to deliver. We really believe, and I'm kind of putting my hand up to see if we can do this faster, but it has to be done well because these are a living thing. So they don't like being over 45 degrees. Now, I think that might be just under 100 degrees there.
Yeah, it's a little bit above 100, but that's 45 degrees. Yeah. So if that means transportation in the summer is a little bit interesting in the hotter weather, right? But
it's okay. They're quite resilient, to be honest. And that will work. We ship all over Australia until it gets very hot around here.
Yeah, it sure does. So okay, so you'll ship it wherever people want to buy it. And so again, folks, you can send a message directly to Bronwin or her team directly on her storefront within Shopley. So you can ask her if you don't see it available in your market, ask her. She'll make sure her team can set the shipping settings the way they need to be so it can be available in your market as well. And I think it's an outstanding product. Love your passion about it. I really do. I think it's great. And I thank you for your time. It's really been fantastic to have you here with us and good to get to know you. Thank you.
I just want to make one more point for those people who are interested in making some serious money, and I mean seriously. This product, there's no other product like it in the world. So if you're one of the first people in an area, they will just line up because of the results. They get 40% more in the crop, in the yield, in the bloom. I've got all these third-party trials, and they've been done in America, so you can have a look at those too.
Okay.
And 40% more protein per above ground green leaf because you're working with Mother Nature. not against
Mm.
her. And bless her, she just loves us so much that she will just deliver. She just delivers every time.
Okay, so last question for me then, and Jeff, you're on deck, ready to go out in just a second. So last question for me, will it work just as well for indoor plants to keep them healthy? Not necessarily food producing plants, but the ones that are indoors with us. Okay, that's a good yes.
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Any cellular cell, any cellulose cell, any plant, cactus, peace lily, spider plant, you name it,
Okay,
lawn. Oh, it's great for lawn. You don't get lawn grubs.
love that. Okay, thank you, Bronwin, for your time, folks. You'll be able to find this portion, of course, on today's recording, and you can clip it and send it out to your teams as you wish. And I'm certain that Bronwin and Ange, and I'm certain that Jeff would be very happy to jump on team calls with your team to also